Clinton Keating writes to me, and he says, Paul, concerning the Eemian industrial age, for Eemians to have had a civilization such as we do now, wouldn't the materials that we dig already have been exploited? Would the coal have been burnt to create the Eemian civilized world? After all, they may be only as thick as a sheet of paper in the environment, as you had said, but wood takes longer than 100,000 years to form coal. Well, yes, of course. And, you know, we come back to this a lot. If 100,000 years ago there was a modern human civilization, as I propose in the book, then if what they did, like we have done, taken carbon out of the earth, burned it to change the climate, well, that's not why we did it, but that's what's happening. If they did the same thing, wouldn't we see evidence of their oil drilling, their coal gathering? And I would counter with, how would you know? 100,000 years is a long time, and as the earth shifts, things like, a mining cave, those get destroyed over time. Just imagine what would happen to us if a glacier came over all of the earth, as it seems to happen every 100,000 years or so. I mean, we have to remember that while we face pretty certain troubled times with the climate crisis, I mean, there's no question, if we keep doing what we're doing, the same thing that happened to the Eemians, as we know from the records of the MIS records, the fossil records, the seas rising, we know that Greenland completely melted, we know that half of Antarctica melted. We know all of this for a fact. That happened. How or why it happened? Well, that's part of the fun of Eemians, speculating. We know that people existed, we know greenhouse gases came up, we know all of that happened, and it's kind of a mirror of what's happening right now. But going back to our current place in time, we know that if we keep doing what we're doing, cheaply pulling carbon out and just burning it up, the same thing's going to happen to us. And once that does happen, it's going to be really bad. And if we recover from it, it's going to be really tough. Most of our civilization is going to be destroyed. It just will. And then the glaciers come back. And imagine what happens when the earth is covered in glaciers and they move mountains, literally canyons. Things get scraped off. There's just no way. And I know it's hard to imagine this. It's hard for me, it's hard for any of us to imagine 100,000 years and glaciers and the deserts that were formed. All of that happened and completely changed the landscape, all of it. Just think on a, not to ramble too long, and I apologize for doing that, but hey, here we are. Paul's rambling again? Oh my goodness. So just imagine a coal mine today. They're not that deep. They're thousands of feet deep, but imagine a coal mine today, and then it gets abandoned, and then over 100,000 years, glaciers come and form and would crush anything that was, the chances of us finding that are slim to none. So let's see where all this goes. Okay, so if you want a free copy of the book, go to eemians.com, EEMIANS.com, and fill in the appropriate form. It's just your name and your email address, and then I'll email everybody. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.